Welcome to the Real Talk with Missy and Fabio.
The honest side of real estate with all you must know to survive in this market.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Missy and Fabio Real Talk, Real People. And today we have a great person that we're going to be talking and you're going to enjoy. Paul Tieche. Hey, did I say it right? Did you like it? How did I say it? Paul Tieche.
Paul Tieche, who is a home inspector. But first off, we really want you all to love on us a little bit. Subscribe, ring the bell, and so you'll get notice of everything that we put out there in a timely fashion. And we thank you for any of your input or your questions. If you'll be kind enough to put them in the comments, then we'll answer them as soon as we can. But Paul is going to tell you a little bit about how we met, our first encounter.
Yes. So
Very nice experience, I guess.
It was.
Welcome.
I thought it was fun.
Welcome.
So she was selling. I think it was a brick house.
With a crack in it.
Well, yeah. But so it was a couple cracks. But anyways, so she was selling the house, and I was working for the buyer's agent as always. So I come in and do the house. It was a little old lady, and
She still hates me to this day.
she does.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her. So, she's not a fan of me.
So Missy called my agent because on a furnace there's a safety switch when you take the bottom door off. Well, sometimes a HVAC guy will take a piece of tape and put it around that so it doesn't work. It just bypasses it and the furnace stays on. It's supposed to shut off for safety when you take the door off. So the little old lady's furnace, come to find out, didn't sit tightly against that button. So after I put it back together and we went home, she come home and the furnace wouldn't work. So Missy calls my agent, I call the little old lady, and I go on the phone with her downstairs, landline, no FaceTime stuff. So she goes.
Because she was a little old lady.
Yeah, so we go through, we talk through it, and she puts it all back together and it works. So that the switch was just off a little bit. So then Missy called a couple weeks later and asked me to inspect one.
No. I called and I gave you grief about something.
Oh, wonder.
Remember?
Wonder.
No.
I forget all the bad stuff. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah,
Fabio?
that's
forgive
true.
people
That's true.
and move on.
move
No.
on.
There was something about the cracks in the wall, and the agent was making a big deal out of them, that they were weepy, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So I called you to visit with you about it. And then as I got done expressing my concern for you.
Very peaceful.
Well, yeah. Well, I just let it go,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and explained we were concerned. And you go, "Are you done?" And I'm like, "I guess I am." And you're like, "Okay, well, I will explain this." And you just very calmly explained everything. And I thought, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Try.
And thus, you have been our home inspector
I have, yeah.
for, I think, I looked back, 58 deals or something like that so far.
Nice. It's 5.
That's only your deals.
Just, look at all the other ones that you've gotten due to references.
We've been doing a few. I don't want to say 52, but a few.
A lot. So tell us your background. How did you get to where you are now? How many kids do you have? What kind of beer do you like? What? I know you're a golf freak.
I do enjoy golf. I don't know if I'm a freak because I'm not very good at it.
Oh, you
but,
love it.
It's the only time I take off work is to golf.
Oh, wait, I think you caught a big fish this year,
I
too.
did catch a big fish this year, too. I did take that weekend off, too. You're right. Keeping tabs on me.
Yes.
He took off here. I needed him there.
No. I was impressed with the marlin, right?
It was.
Damn.
It was 500 pounds. But anyways, so my dad was a carpenter, and I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. Went to college to be a teacher. I came down here to get a teaching job. Pennsylvania is kind of hard to get a teaching job.
Everybody that
from
is here that's a
Pennsylvania,
teacher is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of universities that pump out teachers, and they don't need that many teachers.
Yeah.
So another check for the secondary education system that can't produce what we need. So anyways, I ended up down here. I came down 20 years ago plus, something like that, and taught for 14 years, and then got out of that.
What grade?
I taught 4 through 8.
This is why he's very good at conveying information to other folks
And
in a way that they can understand it.
True. True. I mean, if I can explain it to Fabio, I can explain it to anybody. So, and then the good Lord brought me here. Now I teach and I do construction. So I grew up around construction, and it worked out well.
Nice. And when did you start your own company?
2012. So yeah, doing home inspections since.
So, how many agents are you working? What do you think about how many agents do you work with?
I'd have to say 75, 80.
Wow.
Yeah, so most of the agents I work with are the smaller agents. So agents that
Not
would,
like us.
No, not like you. You're one of the big fish.
Thank you.
So
I was wondering.
yeah.
So, what do you mean, like 4 or 5 deals a year?
Yeah.
Kind of deal?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Hobbyist.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know, it's understandable. They have kids at home, or you know that their husband
has a
works.
good
The husband has a good income, and they just do
medical.
it for medical or socialization, and yeah. So that's good because they're I don't want to be. They're more loyal
To you.
You know? Yeah.
Than us?
Well.
I don't think so.
Oh,
But it's okay. But it's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
No, you're top dog. You're loyal.
I was gonna
loyal
say,
as
I'm
us, but
thinking I give you pre-list home inspections and
a lot of the big fish though they start working the system, and
Oh, really?
it turns more into a business than a quality deal for their clients.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your job is more. I would say to you because I worked with many home inspector, but it's the quality, the time that you take to explain everybody, you know, how they can be done, and if they are handyman. I learned so much just listen to, you know, with him and stuff like that, because you have you take your time and you have passion. Even that I understand that sometimes my clients, they talk a lot.
Well,
and folks say, oh, they want to talk. I say, I have to go too.
But I love how you do it. You go first, do the inspection. Nobody's breathing down your neck or yakking at you, and it gives you time to, except for that little girl, the last one we had that had the 3 little girls, and she talked to you the whole way through, and you go, oh, I forgot this, because you had little ears, little mouths. But I think that that's an amazing way to do a home inspection. Go get her done. Have the client come, and he can spend an hour or 2 visiting with them, making sure that they're aware of everything.
Right.
That's good.
It is like Fabio said. It's the spending the time with them. Because there are other inspectors that'll do it like I do. They inspect the house by themselves, and then they bring the client in and they stand at the kitchen counter and go through the stuff that's wrong, and that's it. They don't go through every room again and teach and go through the outside and show them what's going on. That it is different, but
So you basically are educating. He educates our buyers or our homeowners a lot of times about the home that they live in. He's teaching them about what they need to do to take care of it. What do you always say? She's like a good woman?
well, yeah, every home's like me and you. It needs to be loved and listened to and taken care of.
And given a little tchotchke now and then.
That's right.
Like maybe a new roof or a hot water heater.
That's right. A purse or a new pair of shoes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
There you go. Well, so I love to use you for a pre-list. And the reason I do pre-list home inspections is because I hate surprises. And when we get into a contract, and now it's coming back that we're going to do home inspections again. So you'd be in the money again. But if my agent, the buyer agent, wants to do a home inspection, I sometimes will offer our home inspection that you've done in lieu of the contingency that's going to stop the contract. And a lot of times they'll take it because it saves their client the money that, that it would cost for them to bring in somebody else, as well as we go ahead and we have the repairs done. Have the invoices showing that the repairs were completed if there was something that showed up on the pre-list home inspection. So
Right.
I just feel like it's a catch-22 sometimes, because you may have something come up like polybutylene piping. That what are you going to do? Rip it all out of the house? No. But at least it prepares me then, like the one that was in Augustine that we had. You walked downstairs and you went, "Are you kidding me?" That's the same thing I said. But it was a beautiful home, and it just had a wall of polybutylene piping that it took an educated buyer agent to understand that it was okay. It was good.
Right.
And it's like the stars aligned. Her husband was a plumber. So she was smart about it, and he was smart about it, and they knew it. So it was like, oh my God, I cannot believe out of all the buyers out there, we get an agent whose husband is a plumber that understands all this.
Lucky.
It helped me get ready for them, though.
Right.
And to be ready to answer any questions.
So Paul, let me say, because there's a lot of people, they don't even know what a home inspection is. I mean, first buyer, they don't even know what it is, and even
why do you do one?
Why do you do it? What are you looking for? And so they can explain. They can see what is really so important to have a home inspection.
So first off, there's it's called a standards of practice that it used to be the organizations like American Society of Home Inspectors. It's called ASHI's, the acronym. They had their guidelines of everything to look at. And then INTRNACHI, which is the National Association for Certified Home Inspectors, they had one too. So about 3 years ago, the state of Virginia got DPOR, which is the same people give all of us licenses, contractors, you, me. They came out and said, we're going to take these, and they kind of took both of them and smushed them, and now the state has a SOP that I have to follow, and we use the SOP as a minimum guideline. So the SOP covers everything that is visual, so that's the first thing to understand. And then basically it's everything from the very tip top of the house to the underneath the dirt. Everything that you can see, feel, and touch, we're looking at it. We're looking at the shingles, the roof, the structure, the insulation, the foundation, the electrical, plumbing, run all the appliances. In my reports, I give the birthday, as you know, and the average life expectancy of an appliance. And we talk about things change about the way we do things. So an example of a deck would be great. We see decks that were built 20 years ago, and the reason that we're not allowed to use code on a home inspection, that's the dirty C word, no. So the contractors actually got the state of Virginia to say that. So it's written down that I'm not allowed to use that word.
Okay.
So the codes change because people get hurt and there's a lawsuit. That's the way, just as simple as that. So when decks fall off a house and there's millions of dollars in a lawsuit, then the insurance companies sometimes will push to have the rules changed so that the decks are safer. So yes, it's lobbying, but everything in the world has to do with money. Right. So that's why this stuff has changed. So that's why when we do a home inspection, we say this is the way the deck was built in 1985, and it was okay in 1985. But this is the way we build a deck today in 2022, and these things are not the same as this because this. So we want to kind of make it safe. And usually as part of a home inspection, she'll tell you that I usually sell it as like ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles. I grew up as a kid without them, and I'm still alive. And I mean, I might be a little from the electricity, but I'm okay. But we want to fix those things for our loved ones, our kids, our girlfriends, our wives, our parents if they're living with us. But we don't want those people to feel the pain. So if it comes to a safety issue, that's the reason I want safety issues fixed. I mean, there's always people that are going to want them fixed for legal reasons. You don't want the salesman or the Amazon man tripping coming up the sidewalk and then suing you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know that the Amazon person's allowed to do that, but
Well, this is the country that has more lawsuits in the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, every year.
Yep.
So
Keeps those attorneys in business.
Yeah, that I was kind of so worried about because we have a house that the deck were really, really in bad shape. So I have to write it down. Please don't walk. Do you remember the one that we were talking about?
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. That was scary because it was very high too.
Was.
I would say, my gosh. And people calling me, I say, listen, don't go to.
I made people sign a release before they went in one of mine that the deck was so bad that the lady had plywood on it so her dogs wouldn't fall through it when they went down to go to the potty.
That's a great idea. Next
Yeah,
time I'm going to do
yeah.
something like that because that's a peace of mind, to be honest.
That was scary.
His deck was terrible.
Yeah.
It was.
Ours had like holes in it.
It had
No,
holes
oh,
in
yeah,
it,
it had.
rotten wood, 2.5 stories up.
Oh my
You went up
goodness.
one, and then you went up on another one to the top one, and I'm
So you
walking.
could bounce if you fell through, right?
No, they were separate.
Oh.
They were stair stepped. But literally, when I went up, I was stretching a leg out to step over here, and then stretching a leg out to
Yeah.
step. It was
Bad.
It
Yeah.
was bad. It was bad.
Bad.
But he got it sold.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
We
Good
did
for
it.
you.
We did it.
Good for you.
Yeah. And
Well, let's talk about new construction home inspections.
oh, yeah.
Just what do you think? I mean, I know if I have time, you're in the door and we do a home inspection. What about like a first stage, second stage, third stage? Just wait till we get to the end. Then don't let me forget to ask about solar panels.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So new construction it changed a little bit with COVID. Before COVID, we, as part of the county inspection, you would get more. Like he might come 5 times to the house. Since COVID, to try to minimize contact, he might only come 3 times to the house now, or even 2 times
So
to the house.
when the county inspector comes, he's coming first for what?
They're going to do, first they're going to check the footers
The foundation.
for the foundation.
Uh-huh.
And then then there's, you do your electrical and your
Pre-drywall.
That we do it all lumped together.
Okay.
Yeah, pre-drywall, insulation, and then you're going to do your close-in, and then you would do
OP.
a final.
When did they do the OP? The occupancy permit?
That's dead last.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you suggest, and do you think it's worth it to do a pre-list home inspection? How many houses have we found that have been needed some love that could be taken care of before the final walkthrough for the buyer?
Right. So I didn't used to suggest pre-drywall too much.
Until now.
But with the increased number of homes being built in a short period of
Quickly.
time,
Yeah.
so the builders are running around faster to do what they got to do. So
Right.
they're doing less quality control. The county inspector, he has more to do, or she has more to do in the same day.
And they haven't hired anybody
They
new.
haven't hired
Same
anybody
dude
new.
doing more.
Right, same dude doing more. So he's gonna. Fabio's a builder. I see Fabio's house. On this house, the electrical looks good. The second house I do, the electrical looks good. So on the third house, I'm looking quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm on to the next one. So I get not favoritism, but I get in a lull,
Yeah.
and I trust you. It's really, but there is no trust that should be established because everybody's human. And when I grew up in Western PA. There's Lordstown was the mini Michigan was right across the state line, and I was told not to buy a car that was built on Monday or Friday. As a kid, because they come in hungover on Monday and they
they're
want
ready
to
to
leave
rock and
early
roll
on
on
Friday.
Friday.
So slap it on, let's go.
And to be honest, I think right now builders have some issue with the laborers, and maybe they don't have
enough
people that they are
The
qualified
skill,
to
right.
the skill, to do that. Because let's say there's a lot of Latino, they do a lot of construction, but our construction in our country is completely different from here.
Right.
Completely different.
Right.
So
Well,
sometimes,
We
Right.
found that, I think that every builder, you may think, they're a quality builder. Well, no, it really depends on the foreman that's looking over that subdivision or that street.
Right. That's what
Whoever's
I
in
always say.
charge of that street, how tight
100%.
things are.
Doesn't matter whether it's a local or it's Ryan. You commented on one of my pictures, and it was perfect. That Ryan house was smack on. And then you'll go into another one in another development, and it looks like it's leaning. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But so it's hard to be judgmental, and we shouldn't be judgmental.
Yeah.
Right.
That we're taught, and that's what we do now as a society. We walk around and judge everybody for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why there's so much animosity. If you're not judging me, I say, hey man, I like that shirt. I wouldn't be caught dead and red because it don't look good on me. But
Well, you're red already.
well, yeah, true. But so if we didn't do that, we would just be, hey, Fabio's a great guy. It's what's on the inside that counts. you
Yeah,
know?
that's
So,
true. That is true. That is true.
I don't know.
But to the home inspection, though, as far as new construction, it is not a waste of your money by any means
No.
whatsoever. I mean, we've done a couple in the last year that, there were things that they weren't major, but there were things that needed to be attention to prior to settlement. So
Right.
Paul does his report, then I give it to the foreman. They're happy to have it.
Yeah.
Most often they're pleased. They go ahead, they send their crew in there, they take care of everything. And my buyers and myself, we do the final walkthrough. Everybody's happy. There's no surprises the day
Peace
of
of
settlement,
mind,
and there's
peace
no
of
people
mind.
saying, I'm not closing until that piece of drywall is fixed, Just be proactive. Get it done.
Right.
And then you were so funny because you're educational about the systems in the house and the ductwork in the house and where the bibs are. 150% more than the actual salesperson rep
Right.
that came through the house. He goes, here's the brochures. Just read them when you have a chance.
Right.
For a first-time home buyer. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So that is another, it's just so much. It leaves your clients with such a warm fuzzy that you actually care. It may cost $300 or $400, but it's worth every single penny when the pipe blows and it's frozen or whatever in the wintertime, or it's hotter than hell upstairs because the ducts aren't working right. It's not the builder. It's the education about the house.
Yes, that's
Right.
true.
Because
For
most
sure.
of these houses are so green, they're tight.
Oh, yeah.
And if they don't breathe, tell them your thing about the vents, the air filters.
Oh.
I love it. He tells them, gee, don't you love what he says? I'm like,
So we talk about the thickness of the air filters. We shouldn't buy the very thick ones because it restricts the airflow to the system. They do say the best on them at Lowe's, but we don't want to buy those. We want to buy something in the middle price range or lower. So that's my favorite thing about Corona is everybody had a mask that they thought sucked. It was too hot. It was too thick. That's the expensive filter. So that's how we remember not to buy the expensive filter. We buy the middle of the road filter or down. And if we have pets or allergies that we would think we wanted the more expensive, we just change them more often, every once a month instead of every 3 months. And when you're buying 3 of them for $8 or $10 and you're buying one up here for 20, it's no difference in price to change it every month versus changing it every 3 months.
let your system breathe.
Yeah.
And you don't actually do the HVAC inspection when you're there. So I bring in an HVAC guy for my listings, just to go ahead and have him do his inspection. That's his job. You're
Right.
not the HVAC dude.
No,
you're not
so-
the well and septic guy.
So our standards of practice, I do look at the HVAC and I do inspect the HVAC, but we're looking at, I don't want to, how do you say it? We don't look at the inner workings
Right.
of the system. We make sure that the things that make the inner workings are functional. Like we look at the coil, you usually see a picture of the coil to say whether, hey, we need to get an HVAC guy in here to clean
Clean
this
it
and
up.
service this. We look at make sure it was installed right, the condensation drains right, or the pumps right. We talk as always. I teach about the dampers, the flow, the airflow. But yeah, we do. That's the difference in SOP, and it's kind of like taking your car into a detailer. He's looking at it, and he might tell you that there's a leak in the exhaust because he sees it when he's laying under there cleaning it, but he's not doing an engine workover. He's looking at part of it, but not the deep guts of it. But we check it and make sure that it's working right by taking 2 temperature readings. They're not always 100% accurate, but it's a good sign. If there's not enough discrepancy between the air coming in and the air coming out of the unit, then something's wrong with the unit. It could be dirty filters, it could be dirty coil, it could be lack of freon, it could be a bad sensor.
I learned something from you when talking about the air condition. When you say sometimes the carpet is so higher that the doors can get into the circulation of
No
the
breathing.
air. No breathing. So sometimes people say, "Oh my God, it's too hot in here," and the air conditioning is all the way, you know, the rooms and stuff like that.
Right.
So I learned that from you, that you said that we need to.
Have a little bit of space.
Yeah.
So when people put down new carpet, do they cut their what's that, a
You
hollow
should.
door?
Most
a
of the
hollow
time
door,
it
what
doesn't.
happens when you do that?
So a hollow door has a certain amount of wood up and
Okay.
around the side. So if it hasn't already been modified, you can cut more off. But a lot of times we see it's actually good now because they have carpet that's touching the door, and they're tearing out the carpet and they're putting an LVP in.
Yes.
So now,
Yeah.
Everybody's doing that.
so now I got the gap that I want. Just tear the carpet out, get rid of the carpet, put LVP in, and I'm happy.
So when you see, a lot of times you'll see the vent above the door. Is that in lieu of then?
Well,
Is that
it-
supposed to help?
It does. That's what it's
Okay.
designed to do. And to get your Energy Star rating from the EPA, that's one of the things. To have
Okay.
a passive breathe-through vent at the top of the door.
Nice.
So that does ease circulation. You'll see it. One other telltale sign is when you open the door, the frame is dusty. And that's because it's actually sucking around the door. And the dirt actually sticks to the wood and the air keeps on moving.
That's like when you see the black line all the way around on the
wall.
carpet.
Yep. So the house is actually changing air through the wall.
Nice. That's not good, is it?
No, so that was standard build.
Right.
The way we built things
80s.
in the 2000s.
Really?
Yeah, after was it 2012, 2016, depending on where you were at. The walls now have to be caulked to the floor, and all the gaps between the studs have to be caulked. So we caulk along the bottom, we caulk the studs, and we caulk the top. So we put insulation in the hole, and you put the drywall on, screw it, and glue it. It's a sealed member.
So when
there-
you put the carpet down, the shoe mold is
there's
just
no-
what's holding it.
No,
There's no
same
breathing.
as always. Yeah, there's no breathing like it used
Okay.
to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Very good.
that's more on the energy efficient side. That was 16 or 18, I think, depending on. Codes are adopted differently by different counties. So a code might go through a national cycle, and depending on where you live, it might get adopted 2 years later, 4 years later, 6 years later, 8 years later. So each county is different, which that makes new construction hard.
Yeah,
Because you actually have to go try to find out which, are we running on these, are we running on those?
Right.
Some just got off the 2012.
Well, it's like
codes.
our tax records are well behind
Right.
too. They've not. Most of them are being updated. I can see them now when we pull comps or whatever that they were updated for the 2022, which is like woohoo!
Yeah.
They must have gotten some new blood in that office pushing that button.
And a lot of counties sub it out.
Yes.
They have private companies come in and have the guys
Just
do
to
the
get 'em caught up.
assessments. Right. Well, and they want the assessments because at least when the market's going up, they're missing out money. When the market's going down, they're not going to push assessments.
Right. Right.
It's logical.
Yeah, it's all capitalism.
Yeah.
Working
About
at
money.
its best.
Money, money,
right.
money talk.
So what's the ugliest you've ever seen in a home inspection, or just the thing that maybe you think that people need to really pay attention to? It's a safety issue, so they don't blow up gas, or what do you think is the thing that you see the most that is the easiest fix?
The easiest fix is that you don't hear about it much, but dryer vents are pretty easy
It's
fix.
a whole creature living in there, right?
Yeah, and it's super flammable. And then the next thing is not to plug your refrigerator or freezer into a ground fault circuit protected receptacle.
Yeah, when the power goes out.
Yeah, we see it. It's a big insurance claim actually. That your garage refrigerator or garage freezer, power goes off, the power comes back on, but the ground fault tripped in the storm, and you don't know it because you didn't cook yesterday. You didn't eat any chicken or anything out of the freezer, and then you pull in the driveway. It's 95 degrees outside. You open the garage door, and there's
Big
something
blood.
running out of the bottom of the freezer. So you lost.
Chunk
What's
of
a
money in
steak
food.
today? Holy cow!
That venison you took
Yeah.
care of last winter.
That's right.
How about sump pumps and the backup for that when they're not on a separate plug or whatever,
Right. So
and it's rained like a big dog.
a lot of people, that often is a ground fault too, which is required. So that's kind of a conundrum. Used to be,
That's good wine, as a matter of fact.
it used to be that you just could have a dedicated receptacle near the sump pump. Because the sump pump is completely wired, unless you took a knife to it or a saw to it, you could totally submerge it and you can't get shocked. So it used to, as long as you had a single receptacle, you were allowed to plug that in. The code has changed that it has to be ground fault protected now. So if the storm should trip that ground fault and the power comes back on, you're upstairs watching TV, 3 hours later you come down, the carpet's squishy in the basement. So they do make, which you don't see a lot of builders use them, but they make a ground fault that has an audible alarm in it. So when it beeps, it has a high pitch, just a solid sound.
Your dog will be going, "Hello,
Yeah.
come look at this. It's hurting my ears."
That's right. So I always recommend those on a ground. As far as the battery backup, it depends on the house.
Okay.
I mean, I usually tell people to live in the house and see how much it runs. If your sump pump is one of those sump pumps that runs once a month when you have a rainstorm, then I don't know that a battery backup's worth it, as long as you go down and test it every once in a while to make sure that it hasn't frozen.
Right.
But if your house is one of those ones that on a normal day it comes on 3 or 4 times every day, then you're going to want one because the water level is there all the time. So then when you get the serious rain, and if the power's out, then you're pooched. So,
Yep.
Yes, so that's when you want to spend the money
And when
on
does the power go out?
When it's raining.
like a big dog.
Right.
Like
the
a few
other
days
night
ago.
here, man,
Like
that
a few
was
days ago.
crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, we've had a couple good storms.
Yeah, all those trees.
We
around
have
our
everything
house.
here in Virginia.
I know. We were talking to some ladies today from California, and they're like, "We are not living here," because of course they've been here in the hottest, most humid, biggest storm couple weeks we've had. It's been crazy, and we're like, "No, we have beautiful 4 seasons. You'd love it.
Yeah.
Beyond this week." All right, one other question I want to ask you about. Talk to me about solar panels. Solar panels, I myself, I'm not sure about you, but we had a couple deals that people could not sell their homes because they could not get the value of what they owed on the solar panels lumped in. The appraiser would give no value to the solar panels. Solar companies like, "Oh, dude, we got you, no problem. We'll just make sure that the next person buys this house, they can roll right into the financing. It's only a 30-year payoff. It's all good."
Right. So solar has changed too, massively. It changes every year because
Is there a bonus for buying it now? Do you get a state rebate?
I don't think so.
These people are crazy.
So, well, we live in a green world and they want to do green things.
Well, green shit needs to happen out in the desert where there's sun all day long and no
Well,
trees.
Missy, you
if
shouldn't
every
say
house-
that, Missy.
I'm
We're
sorry.
agreeing. Okay.
Sorry.
If
let's
you
go
had
back.
every single house on a street that faced the right, they were all built the same way.
They get a $50 credit on their Dominion bill every month. Whoop-de-doo.
No, they don't get a $50.
No, it may help $50
Oh,
worth.
hell no. I mean, I have a buddy that has 2 solar panels, or 2 arrays is what each one, when you have a whole thing, it's called an array.
Yeah, he could probably take care of the whole neighborhood.
So he backfeeds the power company and he gets money the same as they charge him. And then when he uses, so it's a wash. Where you lose a lot of money with the solar system, which they don't do much anymore, is with the batteries. Because the batteries, you used to have a solar system would take the electricity and you kept it for your use in batteries. The batteries are expensive, and I mean, we're talking like a whole wall, shelving, car battery, like 20, 30 car batteries to make this work. That's a lot of money. So now they've...
And the space, too.
Right, so it doesn't work. It didn't work financially, so now we backfeed the power company, and the power company gets credits from the government. The power companies can sell them. That's why, I mean, there's so much you can spin off on it. China builds hydroelectric dams, and they sell the green credits to Europe. And they keep burning coal in Europe, but since they have the green credits, so solar panels, the prices come down. The quality has kind of evened out. They have stopped the stuff coming in from China. A lot of the lower quality solar panel stuff was coming from China. The key with solar panels is I would not put them on my roof unless my roof was this. I just put a brand new roof on, then I put them on.
Why?
Because they're going to...
Doesn't it void the warranty for the roof?
No.
Yes, it does. Any of those builders or anybody, they say, hey, you
The
put
warranty, first off,
if
the
you put a
builder
hole in
doesn't
that
warranty
roof-
anything.
Are the builders, like any of the big builders around here, if you put a solar panel or if you put a dish up there and you put holes in that roof, it voids the roof
So
warranty.
the shingle warranty actually comes from the manufacturer. The contractor only honors 1 year.
How about even like radon? They don't want you to put radon through the roof.
In
They
the
want
state
you
of
to put it out the
in the
side.
state of Maryland, it's required.
To go through the roof?
Not to go through the roof, but it's required that every new home gets a radon passive system and a test.
Installed. It's not actually. Does it actually
No,
have
it doesn't
the?
have a fan.
So what good is it?
It makes it easy, so if I do a test and I find the high levels of radon, then I can just cut the pipe and put the fan in. That's wire. The electricity's there.
No, I get
and the
that.
pipe
That's
is
just
there.
like Atlantic Homes was doing here.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if somebody, like I had a house that this winter, I went to the house just to check on it to make sure the pipes hadn't, and there were dudes next door on a Rambler. I swear they're 1,400 maybe at the most. They were out there in the snow doing something to this lady's roof. I'm like, oh my God, they're so nice. This lady's roof is leaking and they're taking good care of her. And I thought, can I have your card? And he guy handed me, he said, they're solar. They were putting solar panels up in the middle of the snowstorm because they'd sold it to her. But
Right.
what is hard for us is in order to sell a house that someone has a $30,000 note on, that note has to be paid off with their mortgage note
Right.
in order to convey, because it brings no value to an appraisal.
Oh, I understand, 100%.
So I'm just trying to make people aware that if you think you're going to be selling your house in the next little bit, you better be prepared to take a hit on your payoff, because you also are going to have to pay the solar panel note off.
Well, yeah. I mean, that'd
But they don't
be the same
understand
as
that.
financing your driveway.
Right.
If you bought a house with a gravel driveway, which you can buy a new $600,000 house with a gravel driveway,
Yes.
and you pave it for $30,000 and have a separate loan for that, that's the same as a solar panel.
But a seller does not understand that, is what I'm
Right.
saying. Is the seller thinks, oh my God, I'm bringing value to my house. Well, no, you're
it's
not.
not.
And I mean, I called 3 appraisers and I asked them, here, what do you think? It's like a pool. A pool person's going to love your house
Yeah,
and pay for it because they want a pool. Your solar or green person's going to love that
Right.
house because they got the solar on it, and they might even pay a little more
Right.
for, but it has to be outside of the what's finance note.
Right.
The mortgage is not going to pay for
Yeah.
the solar panels. Very interesting. And of course the technology is improving every day.
It is.
So what you bought 2 weeks ago, there's something cooler right now.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's going to, the way the societal trend is, it's going to keep coming.
It's gonna go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And the
once it
builders
goes,
need
then-
to really start always including it. I think that would be the best
Yeah.
bet.
And some
Just like
do.
your radon.
Yeah, some do. And it is going to become,
Norm.
there's, I don't know what company's building it, but there's a big Northridge. There's a down in 229 before you get to Charlottesville, or 29 before you get to Charlottesville. There's a big, couple hundred home development going in, and they come with a radon with a solar panel option
Very cool.
on each house. You can just check the box, and they'll put the solar panels on it.
For a small
The-
fee, I'm sure.
Well, it'd be
Everything. It's
hard-
like getting a toilet.
Right.
And an island.
Right. But yeah, that stuff is not going to leak when it's installed. A satellite dish is the least. If you never move it, it's not going to leak. I don't worry
Of
about
course
satellite.
not. But then when you take it out and you forget to caulk those 4 little holes.
You can't just
You can forget about that.
Leave the bracket on the
Yeah,
roof
yep.
until you put new shingles.
Awesome.
That's great. Well, we have so many things to talk to Paul, but I think it's we have to let it go.
Are you hungry?
No, I ate before.
Oh,
I came.
okay.
We are doing fasting, so I say, well,
fasting?
yeah, fasting.
Just
For religious
eating
readings or for dieting?
for our belly reason.
Belly reason and more like a healthy reason too. More focus and.
Okay, so I don't want to see any posts for how long is the fast?
We've
These
been doing
fancy
it.
rest-
restaurants,
we've been doing
these
it for about
fancy
a month.
restaurants
We've
that
been
he's
doing-
always at.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
how you doing this, man? I'm on a fast. Oh, I got this. Look at this. I
was
got
only
my
on
fancy little
vacation.
drink here.
No. But I'm a very good guy. A month. We've been doing it for a month,
We've been
and I
doing
can
it
see
for a
it.
month.
Nice.
My wife told me today you have to gain some weight
no,
because
she didn't.
yeah, she
Oh,
did.
that's
She
not
did. She
good.
said just stop losing weight.
No.
But she said you need a haircut and
Yeah,
a shave.
yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. I thought I was a free man, but I don't think so.
Anyway, thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Fun to-
So
fun to be
your
here.
company name is, not that we want anybody to know because we want him for ourselves, but anyway.
Yeah, just PT inspections.
And this man gives a beautiful report. I think too that's another thing that I love. He does a summary. The most important things are in the summary. I don't have to
With a
dig
lot of
and dig and
pictures. With a lot of
That's right. I
pictures.
want
A
you
lot
to
of
look at the whole thing.
documentation.
Don't look at the summary. I want you to look at the whole thing.
Yeah, well.
That's great.
And he'll go through our people. We have go through with our people. We have a lot of times that our persons cannot be there, and Paul will make an appointment with and go through on the phone with them and make them happy.
Yep. Sit there for an hour and a half. The farthest one, the guy was in Ethiopia when we bought the house.
But remember, new agents, you have to be with him, with an intention.
Absolutely.
Don't ask like, should I go? No, you have to go.
Go and be a part of it. You'll
Yeah.
learn so much. Absolutely. And I thought we had to be. I thought the real estate agents were supposed to be a part. It's a big decision right down the middle, or division, I guess I should say. There's agents that I don't want to know. That's not my place. It's for my buyer, and I'm not going to be a part of it.
Well, if we ever get back to writing addendums, that's the best way to
Hello,
learn
that's
how
the
to write
hardest
the
thing we
addendum.
have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It is so hard. I got one the other day that, well, we've been working with this lady who doesn't know how to do a contract, and she's a broker.
Part of life. Part of
Part
life.
of life. But anyway,
You're going to say?
thank you so much for joining us, and Paul, and we appreciate you coming and sharing
Thank you.
a little bit of time with us. We could sit here all day long and
Yeah.
visit, but
So remember, they have to click the button. Did I say like a
Yes.
UK guy?
yes.
All right.
and
Button.
and ring the bell. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments for us, please. And Paul will put his link there for you. So if you do need a home inspector, you can reach out to him.
Bye, guys.
Have a
Bye.
good one.
So glad you joined us today.
Please message us on Facebook, and Fabio and I will respond to all your questions as soon as possible,
Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
or anywhere you listen to your podcast.